Hello everyone. We are back online. This is going to be like, my second of the week. As you know, Tuesday, we have announced a new game. We're pretty excited about it. Black Lab Games have just unveiled that Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector is their next game. So this opens up a new world for us. So first of all, it's great that we can talk about it. We can finally talk about it. It's been in the works for so long. We're super excited that we are now at the point where we can actually have a full schedule of events based on that game. Also, you know that we come from 3 Tuesdays of unveilings. So we've had Eastern Worlds 2, we've had Starship Troopers gameplay. We have another one next week, which is focused very much on Matrix Games products, so like more hardcore war games. And again, there's a couple of very interesting surprises on that. So make sure you stay tuned. And after that, what I'll do during the tea time every week is update you on the progress of all these games. So that we keep track together about what's happening and how things are developing and all that kind of stuff. But today I will keep it. We'll have two guests, two super cool guests. One of them is a fan favorite of the community from when we did the Distant Worlds 2 unveil. There were more posts about him in the chat than about the game. So Das Tactic is going to be with us. And the other guest is Edmund, our fellow streamer, and also he's he's part of the marketing department at Slitherine, so I'm happy to have him on board for this. Of course, this is a Vader sweatshirt. Yes, I can't. The back of it is the best part, but I can't show it to you actually. This is one of my favorite ones. I'll try and show it later to you guys. So what we did do, the Battlesector, first of all, let's just recap what we talked about over the Battlesector event on Tuesday. Battlesector is a game based on the invasion of Baal. It is going to release in May this year. On PC, you better go and wishlist the game on Steam if you want to keep updates on how the product's developing. It is also going to release on consoles, on PlayStation and Xbox in the summer. The game, of course, being about the invasion of Baal, features the Space Marines, Blood Angels, and the Tyranids. It is being developed by the guys who did Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. It's a turn-based, grid-based strategy game where there's a lot of, I would say, fast-paced action, in a sense that it's supposed to feel frantic and super fast. That's the goal we're trying to achieve. There's a lot of blood, and there are a ton of things about the game that we haven't showed you yet. Like very cool features, stuff that we're very proud of. We were actually exchanging some of the screenshots of these things the other day in our internal marketing chat, and most of the guys have never seen these things. We're like, this is just really cool stuff. So very cool game, and we're very excited about it. Remember that if you have questions to ask about this game or any other game, just write the questions in the chat. I'll try and respond to these and make sure that I keep you updated on what's happening. I get ICBM too hard. Well, there's loads of explanatory videos on YouTube, so you might want to check some of these. Some of these are actually very well crafted. I think Edmund's done quite a lot of these as well. So make sure you check on our channel, on our YouTube channel, and you know, others might also help you doing that, browsing and also, you know, finding the right way to learn the game, but in a proper way. I've heard that Starship Trooper game is getting delayed 1 year again. That's not true. Starship Troopers is an early summer release, possibly end of Q2, if not very, very early Q3. We're now targeting June, so it's definitely on track for that. So definitely Starship Troopers coming this year. Love Gladius. Well, I think that, you know, that's what we're trying to do with battlesector, is sort of create that tactical game feeling that, of course, Gladius being a 4X strategy game is, you know, couldn't have. And you know, it whilst Gladius is more about research and, you know, developing your faction and so on, this is more like a battle game, hence the title. And that's how we sort of try to position the two, so that we don't make any confusion on what they are like. So are there going to be more unit types for Space Marines other than the ones you've shown already? Well, these are the two factions. We have other units also coming from other factions, if I may say so, but we'll say more about it later. But, you know, the core of the action is Blood Angels and Tyranids. That's the core of the game. Is Field of Glory 2 Kingdoms a real plan or just a rumor? It is a wishful thinking, I guess, at the moment. It is something that we are considering. I was actually just saying to Das before this chat that, you know, Crusader Kings just released, so you just don't want to go, you know, just against that masterpiece straight on, but it's definitely something we're looking at considering at the moment. Right, so before we get to the chat with Das and Edmund, I just wanted to update you on Panzer Corps 2. Panzer Corps 2 has a new DLC coming. It's also, of course, the follow-up to the Axis Operations campaign. It's going to be the 1941, so we're going east, massively going east with this one. We are currently internally testing the tournament system, which means that we're targeting a release of the tournament system with the next DLC. We're also looking at launching on the Epic Games Store for the next DLC as well. So it's a lot of ducks to put in a row, and we are, you know, probably going to delay the release a bit. But we're now looking at mid-March for release of the next DLC, and I think that's probably very, very realistic. Considering that, you know, usually our releases are midweek in Thursday, that's our release day usually. It's probably going to be around the 18th of March right now. So talk about the tournaments, of course, you know, we just finished the tournament for Medieval with content creators, and so that gives me the opportunity to call Das Tactic and Edmund, whose contribution to that was instrumental and making it a great fun event. So let me call them in. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey guys, how are you?
So here
Welcome
they are.
everybody.
This is the camera has just been turned on. Shuffle. Okay, cool, good.
Right. So well, first of all, let me give you a sneak peek for all the participants to the event. You're gonna get this fantastic shirt.
Ah, cool.
I'm sure that you look in your mailbox.
I didn't even know.
So that's coming to you kind of soon. Thanks for actually participating in the event, guys. I think it was kind of fun. I mean, you managed to have the last match against each other, but you lost, right? Is that the case, Edmund?
It's so one great thing about the tournament system is you can have a lopsided battle and it would still be fair. So you can have a battle where one side is expected to win and one side is expected to lose, and the system measures how strongly you won or how well you lost, as it were. So I in the game I was expecting to lose, I had a nightmare, as it were. And in the one that I was expecting to win, Daz he clung on and forced a Pyrrhic victory. It wasn't quite strong enough of a victory for me to unseat him. It was incredibly close. I mean, out of 400 points by that point, there was only about 15 or 12 points between the middle and the top. So
right.
yeah, it was.
You're getting some echo from your feed, Edmund. So I don't know if that's you or your microphone, or are you doing Twitch stream? Are you following the Twitch stream whilst talking? I don't know.
No,
might be that.
Should be impossible because I'm using both phones.
Yeah. Let's see if
I just put my headphones in as well, actually, to try to see if it's coming from my side. So that's now blocked off in sound coming through my microphone.
So
okay. So all right. That must be back at the studio, I guess.
Should be better now. Is that better?
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Much better now. Okay.
There we go.
Cool. As I say, yes, it's impossible. Daz and I, of course, we do this every day, so we all use headphones to avoid.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's other than being an iconic figure in the community now, and you're starting to sign autographs very soon.
I don't know about
so
that.
you had a lot of fun. You were playing Field of Glory Medieval tournament.
Oh, it was fantastic, actually. This is my second go at the tournament system. The last time was years ago, and I didn't understand it at all. But this time, I've just thoroughly enjoyed the process. It was a really nice, like even just having just like a handful of us actually playing it was quite nice because it was fairly collegial, and I really had a great time with it. And as Edmund was sort of saying, I don't know if people got the gist of what actually happened at the end there, but it was extremely close at the back end of it, and so the tournament system was actually dictating a lot of the battlefield tactics in both Edmund and my game, but also Steinwallen and Lionheart's games. And so Steinwallen in the end had to win decisively in both his games. And I think that his last game that he played was, from what we could see with the scores, was just so tightly run between he and Lionheart. And at the very, very end, and I was watching the scores as he was creeping up and up and up, because he came from a long way back, and then ended up just bouncing ahead of Edmund and I.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Steinwallen.
He was really good, actually.
Really, I don't understand German, and we've been communicating a little bit on Discord, but I really want to sort of see how he got that last victory, because Edmund and I both really struggled playing as the Teutonic Knights, and so we've discussed that, but no, he did incredibly. He had to do that to win the tournament, and he did it.
What was actually, out of all the maps and factions you played with, Edmund, what was the kind of the one that you preferred? Not hardest, easiest, because that wouldn't mean anything, but what was your preferred one?
So my favorite part of the tournament was the second round, which was the Mongol horde versus Hungary. Now, the history behind this is 1241. Hungary just didn't have a chance. They just got ransacked. And so going into the tournament, I knew that Hungary were going to have, big trouble. So I just, set up all these archers in the forest and just put my men in the center there. And it was just like, I'm going to just see how much damage I can do. And it became an incredibly close game. The final score was 63-58 because the guys in the trees just really fought to the absolute bitter end. It was very cool for me. I like having the odds stacked against me. So I very much enjoy that feeling of, the unstoppable armies coming, and I'm just going to try and wound the beast as much as possible.
Yeah.
It was very cool.
What was it for you, Das? Your best suited army to play with?
Really, the first game, I felt much more comfortable with that. But the funny thing was, it's like Esmond sort of saying there with the Mongols, and I've always really shied away from horse archers in any Field of Glory game. I really dislike them. Well, I have in the past until that game too. And so even in the lead up, I was watching a lot of Richard of York's Mongol series on YouTube just to sort of see how he approached it and did things like this. Hi, Richard. I think Richard's in the chat there somewhere. So, so I was sort of seeing, okay, because I've got to get my head around this. And for me, that was actually, like, I actually ended up not hating them anymore, which I don't know if I love them, but I really did enjoy that process. So I guess the biggest surprise for me was was how much I enjoyed the horse archers after game 2, but up until that, my comfort zone was in game 1.
All right. Okay. You've played quite a lot of Field Glory Ancient, Field Glory Medieval. What's your desire for the series? How the series will progress in the future. What do you think?
For me, it's actually, I've always loved, I used to play Field of Glory 1 way back in the day. And so I had all the DLC for that as well. And my favorite DLC was Storm of Arrows, which was the Ashen Corps, like the English longbowman, that style. So I'm really looking forward to when that comes. I'm also really looking forward to the Crusades and sort of the expansion of the map out of Northern Europe. So they're the two areas that I'm really, really looking forward to. But I think that probably more than anything, getting back to that Storm of Arrows, even like, in some of the games that I've played with Richard, I think we even started trying to get a hashtag, because we didn't know that medieval was coming at that stage, FoG's Storm of Arrows.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, 100 Years' War is always a fan favorite, I guess. It's such a nice period. There's so much happening in terms of sort of military evolution as well. With gunpowder kicking in, and there's a lot happening there. So you'd really have to sort of follow with the tech as well as with how your man improve. That's really cool. And what about you, Edmund?
I think the system actually.
You've been looking at Field of Glory. I mean, I told you about, I think 3 months ago or 2 months ago, I said, can you get to grips with Field of Glory so that we can start streaming it? And you seem to be doing quite well. So what's your thing for the future?
So the regulars around the community will know me for Panzer Corps 2 and Fantasy General 2, and so Marco came to me and he said, Field of Glory. Can you get familiar with it? This was a couple of months ago, and I played it a bit at that time, and I thought, okay, well, I feel comfortable enough. And then, for a month there was silence, and then out of nowhere it was like, you're going to be playing in a tournament for Field of Glory 2 Medieval, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking to myself, I'll get some practice. When's that going to start? Yeah, it's 2 days. Or was it tomorrow or something? So I was like, okay. So I was very happy to have acquitted myself well. But it's a brand new game. Obviously, no one had actually specifically played medieval before the tournament, so everyone was sort of in the deep end. Me maybe especially so, but it was good fun. I must admit, I did have a lot of fun with it.
Cool. Well, guys, thank you very much for joining. I think that these things help us promote the game, but are also a good way of getting feedback and understanding how you perceive the games and play them. So it was really good to have you on board on this. There's so much happening in the future that we will see more of your faces around, not in this tea time maybe, but around the web about our products. So thanks for sticking
Tim
with us.
Tams today for tea time. So.
We've got apple biscuits here.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought the theme was chocolate. I've
So,
misconstrued.
as a stereotypical British person, it's everything with chips, right?
Oh my goodness. Where's your lager?
Thanks to Slitherine as well for actually putting that tournament on. It was a lot of fun. It was really, really good to be part of it. It was, as I say, very collegial with everybody. It was really, really cool. And the game as well. Like I guess I always try to put myself in the mindset of somebody that's evaluating games. You know, whether like, and I think one of the big questions that people will have is this far enough away from Field of Glory to Ancients to sort of warrant investing in? And the more I've played it, the more I've sort of seen the big difference that the different sorts of units bring in, and the changes in the other units that you got from Ancients. So, in my opinion, yes, it is. You know, like it actually is something that, and that really just comes down by playing more and more and more of it, because it's certainly it's got a very different feel about it.
It's a good game to it's a good game to relax with in the evening. You know, when it's nighttime.
Mate, you know, everyone has his own relaxation systems, I guess.
Nighttime.
Well, thank you guys. It was very good to have you on board, and I'm sure we'll speak soon about other games. So
thanks, Marco. See you guys later.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Take care.
All right. See if there's any question in the chat. Instant beta access for Distant Worlds 2 for Das Tactic and me. I think the first round was just about 12 people, so we just closed that, and then the next one will happen in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll make sure your name is down for the next round, Wolf. What else? Field of Glory Opium War. It may take it too far. Horse and Musket reboot would be my vote, but I realize a lot of folks like the idea of a Napoleonic game. After all, the tabletop rules, it does exist, right? Well, yes, it does, but you know, in terms of gameplay for a realistic strategy game, I don't think that right now the current Field of Glory system actually works for Napoleonic, so we'd have to sort of redo a lot of the systems to actually work for formations and and how actually engagements happened and so on. So the use of battlefield and all that kind of stuff. So it's got to be a completely different game, I guess. What else? Right, as there's no other question right now, let me give you more information about. All right, yes, one thing I wanted to mention. Next week during the tea time, we'll have a very, very special guest. Arnell David is going to be with us. He's the co-founder of the UK Fight Club. He's at the headquarters of the Allied Rapid Reaction Corps. And UK Fight Club is a professional wargaming. It's a community Arnell put together to encourage the use of war games within the military, and it's really doing very, very well. So we'll have him in the tea time to discuss about it, how we started it, and how it's becoming a really big thing. It's going to be a really cool chat about how war games are actually used in the military. So don't miss that. It's going to be very interesting. Other notes for next week on Tuesday we have this a new showcase about Matrix games. We are going to have news about the new decisive campaigns, War in the East 2, new games being announced. There's a lot. There's a lot to say. It's going to be an hour or so about where our wargaming, like more traditional wargaming lineup will go in the foreseeable future. There's going to be stuff about Warplan Pacific as well. So again, make sure that you tune in, because there's a lot of a lot of stuff to discuss about. We were talking the other day. I think I said in this chat that we're finalizing the manual, the physical manual for War in the East, which is coming up to 500 pages. It's a humongous work that the developers are putting together, thanks to the help of the community as well. So that's going to be on sale with the product, and we'll have some special mechanics to actually get hold of this book because of the current situation with shipments and printing and all that kind of stuff. Age of Rifles remake would be great. I think that there's a lot of SSI games that are, would be really, really cool to have. The problem is that bringing some of these older games to modern technology is a lot of work and require very specialized teams. And unfortunately, I have to say, not a lot of developers actually know the stuff to make good war games. It's much easier to find, more mainstream developers that do very, very cool games, but finding teams that are able to deliver a game like a War in the East or a War Plan or, stuff like that is super hard. So if you guys out there know, about, programmers or designers or that are able to sort of tackle these subjects and, bring these games back to life, we'd love to hear, because that's a key thing for us. I mean, we're finding more and more difficulty in bringing these war games to the next generation because the developers are getting scarce. So if you've got ideas on how to do that, let's get in touch. Agrippa, developers tend to shy away from Victorian Age. It seems to me an absolute cash cow. Well, Victorian Age is a very niche sort of segment of history. If you tackle it from a war gaming perspective, it has very cool angles, but especially for audiences from from wider public like North America or Far East or Australia, it's less of an interesting topic. Yeah, it's more like a European thing, and not all of Europe either. So that's how we're trying value gauge if a game is going to be successful or not. So we need to be taking all these elements into consideration. Same as Napoleonic, right? Very few people in the US are interested on the Napoleonic subject, and very few people in Europe are interested about the American Civil War. So, fragmenting all the bits of the audience is always very, very hard for delivering numbers that make sense. Has the next streams? All right, yeah. Give me that note, mate. Just don't worry. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's your family, so. So next up will be Hexaboo with Panzer Corps 2. Tomorrow we have a gamer doing Strategic Command War at War, and then Armored Brigade by XTRG. XTRG is actually going to play the new DLC coming up, which is Czechoslovakia and the Netherlands. So that's tomorrow. On Saturday we have the usual traditional stream for Command Modern Operations by Kushan. And we'll, of course, like every Monday, check the Twitch agenda so you can see what's happening during the week. Other things, interesting point about Napoleonic. Yeah, well, it's always something that business-wise we have to take into consideration. Remember that when there was the anniversary of Waterloo a few years back, there were like 7 different games being developed about Napoleonic theme, and then nothing for the last few years, really. So it's like that's how it goes, unfortunately. The Czechoslovakia and the Netherlands DLC is for Armored Brigade. That's going to be the 3rd in the series of DLCs, and may came with both era in it. Well, you mean Napoleonic and Civil War and American Civil War? That's kind of what the Scourge of War series was tackling, really, kind of similar gameplay mechanics, but using the same kind of core engine to develop the two branches, Napoleonic and the Civil War, and that worked very, very well. To say, it was very, very successful. Right. So if there's no more questions, I will just remind you the next up is Panzer Corps 2. Give you the next meeting with this setup on Tuesday next week. And for the moment, I will say goodbye and thanks for following us.